I'm George Quinlan, and thank you. Welcome to another edition of It's All About the Dogs. And this is my boy Merlin. I think some of you, if you've watched the show before, you've met him. And today we're going to be talking about a very important topic. Merlin, come here. And we're going to talk about muzzles. The importance of muzzles and why people are so afraid of muzzles when you shouldn't have to be. What role they play with a dog. What role they may play with your dog if they don't like going to a veterinarian. So I'm going to take this off and I'm going to put it down. We're going to talk about this a little bit. I use food, as you know, and oftentimes you hear more and more saying about the problems with using food. You don't have a balanced training technique, but food plays a very important role when you're teaching something brand new to a dog, and the secret is to wean away from the food as you go along and not get stuck on the food constantly. The food is used to keep the dog's interest and reward the dog instantly for a behavior that you're trying to achieve. And the muzzle work is that type of thing that we want to reward the dog when the muzzle is on and not so much when the muzzle is off. So what we're going to do today is show you 3 different types of muzzles. We're going to show you how to measure for a dog for a muzzle, and then we're going to show you how to make an emergency muzzle. Right now I'd like to talk about different ways that you can measure for a muzzle. The first way obviously is using a tape measure, and he kind of thinks that everything belongs to him, as you can see. But this may be difficult for some people or to read, or you may not have one. You may have just a yardstick. In that case, you can just use a piece of string and string over heavy rope, because we want to be able to measure the diameter of the muzzle and the length of the muzzle. Okay, so I'm going to show you once on Merlin, and then we'll do it a second time for you to see it with twists. So with that said, we'll try to get it from 2 different angles so you make sure that you can see this. Merlin, ici? Très bien? Good. I'm going to try to turn my body so you can see the measuring taking place. Come front. Assis. Très bien. By taking a measure, a piece of string, and just about a 1/4 inch from the eye, you're going to just measure the distance around, and then you can put it on top of your yardstick. And that way you get a reading, because you want to make sure that the muzzle fits properly. The problem is a lot of people want to go out and get those muzzles from the veterinarian uses where it restricts the dog's mouth, and you don't want that. I want my dog to be able to pant. I want to be able to feed my dog through it. I want my dog to be able to be relaxed with it. If you only wait till you go to the veterinarian to condition a dog to put a muzzle on, if he's frightened or if he's sensitive, then you're only stressing the dog out even more. Merlin, ici? Now, I know we're in Biddeford, and there's a lot of people in Biddeford that speak a lot better French than I do. I am Irish. I'm only speaking to my dog in French, so bear with me and have a good laugh. And I want to tell you how I came about that. It happened in Biddeford. I happened to have a Bouvier with me one day, a puppy, and one of my clients, we were doing a home visit, she wanted to meet my puppy, and she grabbed the puppy by the cheeks and went, "Lacatine, lacatine," and I thought that was precious. And I asked her what it meant, and she said it meant little doll. So that puppy's name officially became Juliette la petite poupée, which Juliette the little doll. Anybody who speaks French in the area wants to contact the station and let me know how to pronounce it better, please feel free. I would appreciate it. Merlin, you ready? I need your help over here. So with the measuring tape, I'm going to put it right here, about a 1/4 inch below the eye. Bring it around. Measure. I have 13 inches. Assis. C'est bien? I want to measure the nose, the muzzle. I want to start the same location. Settle. Oh, be nice now. And you're going to get this. You're going to get some dogs that are being silly. You're going to get some dogs that are resistant. Don't wrestle with them. Remember, we're trying to make this pleasant so the dog will be comfortable with the muzzle on. Don't fight with the dog's muzzle. Okay. He is 4 inches. His muzzle is called a Baskerville muzzle. The basket muzzle protects the dog, and I say protects the dog because, hook up, I want the dog to eagerly put his face in it, and it protects the dog from getting hurting somebody like a veterinarian. You just broke the microphone, huh? And getting the veterinarian or the technicians comfortable with a dog that's large or that's maybe has issues or maybe that's injured. Now, he does not wear this muzzle because he has a problem. He wears this muzzle because in a competition that we trial in, he has to do a healing pattern with a muzzle on and accept it, not to try to take it off. If he takes it off, he gets a 0. And in Europe, and where this event developed, it's not uncommon for dogs to be able to be in public with a muzzle on. Here in the United States, we have a problem. We become frightened with a dog with a muzzle on, and we get prejudiced, we get negative feelings, and it stops a lot of dogs that need the social skills, getting social skills. The muzzle, a dog with a properly fit muzzle can't not hurt you. And so if you see a dog, somebody working a dog in the street, which I'm hoping to promote more people not to be afraid to, you must get a proper fitting muzzle. We must train the puppy to get comfortable with the muzzle before we start adding variables such as people, bicycles, and cars or other animals. We also want to make sure that the dog is safe at all times when we put a muzzle on. Different types of muzzles. This is my one that fits my dog best. This was the first one I got him, and it did not fit him properly. It was okay, muzzle. It fit. The problem is he has a lot of hair, and he wasn't getting enough oxygen for me, for my comfort level. But you can see he's quite comfortable with this on as well. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about a couple of more muzzles. I'm going to send Merlin out, and we're going to bring in another dog. And we're going to show you how to measure this puppy. And we're also going to show you how to introduce the muzzle to this pup. And so you can understand that you don't fight with a dog. This is where food is primo when it comes to training a dog. You have to excuse my mess on the table. I am, when you train dogs, you have to just kind of put things down and pick them up. You can't put them in their tidiness. And we're going to use today is we're going to use string cheese for this dog that's coming in. I'm going to put it away before she comes in. String cheese can be purchased such as this. I like to create it when doing muzzles. I like to put it into small spears and maybe even smaller because it wants to fit through the muzzle easily for the dog. So this is what we have is traditional string cheese. The food that I was using for Merlin is my training treats, and it's a bit messier, and I don't worry about that because if the food gets stuck on the cage, he just keeps licking it anyhow. I want him to love putting this muzzle on, having no worries about it whatsoever. Remember, please, you want to put a muzzle on, get the dog used to the muzzle before you need it and not when you need it, okay? So this is the muzzle that belongs to Twist. Puppy's name is Twist of Fate, and we'll call her in a moment. And you can see it's a large basket. Meaning it's larger holes, so it'll be easier to condition this dog to. Okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to start with her, and I will then talk about emergency muzzles at the end and what you can do in case of an accident or we have to get the dog on something, the dog immediately, and of course, we'll have to bring Merlin back in for that again. Or I may be able to see how Twist will adjust to it. Since Twist is not injured, she may be a little bouncy. She's really silly. She's a precious little girl. And she thinks the world is her oyster. And no problem. I think that a dog is good to, she's rolling around on her back over here. So again, we're going to start with measuring. Hi, Twist. Can you come see me? Oh, my baby girl, huh? Oh, I know. Twist has been dealing with an ear infection, So we've been putting medication in her ear. So she is, come here. The training exercise we did with you folks in the last season was how to condition a dog ready for a vet, how to prepare a dog for this by itself. So you're not fighting with the dog. The dog's ear hurts. The last thing you want to do is fight with her while you're trying to put medication in. And you cannot condition her. You have to get the medication in. So you prepare your dog now for getting the medication into her later. Twist is a happy puppy. She's a Bouvier. She lives with Merlin. It's a female. You can see the difference in the size. It's dramatic. With these two pups, two different litters, same breeder, but the breed size can vary. You ready? I need you to work. Can you settle? Good. Today we're doing a typical program as if you were coming into my consultation room, and we're trying to do as improv as possible, if you will. So I want to get my puppy to settle. Good girl. Yeah, take the measuring, or you can use the string. It doesn't matter. Can you settle for me? Good. Ready? Good. Take the tip. Come here. Twist. I see. Good. Not sure if you're going to be able to see this with her. Good girl. Very nice. 10 inches around. Good girl. 3.5 inches long. It's important that you get that measurement about 1/4 of an inch from the eye. I'll show you again if she'll let me. Twist, come here. Oh, look what you found. Come here. I see. I'm trying to get you around. Come here. Twist. Can we use that center camera? Maybe, so I do the measuring. 11 inches. 3.5. And then you order the muzzle that's appropriate fit for your dog. I want the muzzle to be big enough for the dog to pant, but it has to be, come here, couché. Très bien, good girl. It has to be snug enough to the nose. It can't be too long because it'll rub against the eyes. So it's important. The diameter you can always add this size to, but you cannot add size to the length because it'll irritate the eyes and slide back and forth. So what we're going to do right now is going to help Twist adjust to putting this muzzle on. What's the reason? Because it's a very good exercise to teach your puppy. So we'll see. Put your nose in. Good girl. Take it off. She gets no treat. We'll try it again. She's got extra straps on this muzzle. It goes over the collar to secure it. Ready? Así. Muzzle. Good. Good girl. So you see she's willingly sticking her face in it. Yes, good job. And she sat there with it for a while. She gets nothing for taking it off. Good girl. That's precious. Good girl. She gets a lot of behavior, a lot of rewards for putting her face in it. Up. She comes off. She gets nothing. Muzzle. Good. It goes on. She gets attention. She gets cheese. She gets love. She gets nice, soft eye contact. She takes her nose out. She gets nothing. Good girl. Good job. Can you pick it up? Can you get it? Come here. Hey. Good. Twist. Twist is very busy. Twist is a very, very active, high-energy dog. This dog, as I want you to understand, the Bouviers, when you go get yourself a dog, make sure you find a good dog. Good dog. Make sure you find the puppy that fits your lifestyle. Twist is a wonderful puppy. She's a high energy. She's for experienced handlers only. I let her get away with a little bit more because when I need to put her on cue, she responds extremely fast. Good girl. Nice. Good girl. She's been taught to think. Good girl. And we teach my dogs to problem solve and not to be afraid to try something. Ready? Pas touché. Good. If you want this, you have to put your nose in there. Good girl. Good girl. And when she's ready, lots of practice. Do not rush doing this. There's not any reason to rush. Good girl. Nice. You're going to make this a game. It may take you a few days to be able to get her to be able to put this on her neck. And we don't attach it because if she backs up, I want it to come off. Right now, I want her, good girl. I never want her to be afraid to put this on. Okay? It's really good girl. Okay, we're going to try it one more time. Okay? I have the piece of cheese. Again, I'm not worried about obedience at this point. I want her to be enthusiastic. I want her to love this. I don't want any negative with this. And that means if she jumps up on me, it's not the end of the world for this type of training exercise right now because we can control her in every other day. Oops. Hold on. Slow down. Ready? Try it again. Muzzle. That's a good girl. She likes her cheese so much that she has a hard time. Once it's on, we then can start strapping it. Come here. Poke up. Good. See how she calms down? It's a time and place for energy. And I'm not going to squish a puppy for being energetic over something that's so critical as learning how to relax when the vet needs to examine her. So I let her be. I put her under control once she gets the idea of what we're trying to teach her. Okay? Basket muzzles, best way to go. I would avoid the muzzles at the vet clinic that they sell in Petco, and I'm not slamming, but any pet store, because they're a restraint and they create frustration for some dogs, and they don't allow the dog to pant. Okay. So those are the 3 types of muzzles. This is a good one. It'd be better for a dog without a lot of hair because of the fact that the dog, when I put it on my Bouviers, the dog can't breathe properly because the hair is down snugger. That's why I went with the basket. They have little cushions inside. Hey, pas touché. Good. Rest. Couché. Rest. And so they're not going to wear on the dog. You put this on dozen times for no particular reason in the house and teach the puppy to enjoy putting it on and make it a connection, a relationship with your dog. Love them up. Give them some affection. And when they take it off, when they pull out on their own, stop. Get them to do it again. And they'll like the idea of sticking their face in there is a good thing. Now, this gauze is the best thing to do for an emergency. Twist, VC. Come, couché. Très bien. Good. Gauze is the best thing to do for this. We didn't happen to have gauze, but we have a triangular bandage that's, when it comes out of the wrapper, that's used for making slings for a person. What you want to do is start with it really simple by making a little loop like this. Can you come close, PC? Come here. Good. Assi. Assi. Good. She's going to be hard. She's never had this on. And good girl. Nice. Again, I would recommend you condition your puppy for something like this. As you can see, it's just looped and hang it over. Okay? Good. Take it off. She gets nothing. The way this is used is for emergencies only. Couché. Good. The dog's muzzle fits through here. It ties over the muzzle, ties under the muzzle, and then wraps up and back of the ears and ties there. So I will see, I want you to see what it was before we put it on the dog and see how she does. Ready? The best part about doing TV with live dogs as opposed to dead dogs or stuffed dogs is, come here, you never know what to expect. Come here. I want you to understand that your dog isn't going to take to this immediately. This is just a fact, and so don't worry about it. They're all dogs, even trained dogs will say, I don't know that. What is that? I've never seen that before. Come close. I see. Notice I make her come close. I make Merlin come close. I don't want them. Settle. Settle. Shh, shh, shh. I see. Good. Good. I don't want to reach for them. Settle. I tie underneath. Oh, this is great. She's being very good. And the angle. And I tie him back. I'm not going to tie it tight because there's no need to. Good girl. This will keep you safe from being bitten by your own dog. Ready? You know what? You're such a good dog. I'm going to give you one for the road. Okay? Good girl. Go see Victoria. Good job. And we'll let Twist go outside and get a drink. And we'll finish up without a dog so we can talk about this more intensely. I'm all set. Thank you very much. So, again, we'll look at this piece of gauze. This is a triangle bandage that you can, I recommend if you have children especially, that you have this in your car. An emergency is just that. You never know, and you try to be prepared the best you can. So, you take it. Tie it loose. Put it over the muzzle of the dog. Snug it up. There's the muzzle. Tie it again. Underneath, snug it. Remember, this is for an emergency, but you condition the dog to having it on. Twist never had this on before. So, and then you bring it up and back, and you tie a knot there. The dog can't get it off, and it'll save you a serious bite if your dog is ever injured, whether it's hit by a car or something like that. I have to tell you, when I was 24 years old, many years ago, I made that mistake of not muzzling a dog that was hit by a car. I was driving ambulance for the Massachusetts Society of Prevention of Cruelty to Animals at Angel Memorial Animal Hospital. And I went to a call in Milton, Massachusetts, and this Great Pyrenees was pinned underneath the car. We had to jack the car up to get the dog out. Dog showed all the signs of a broken back. I figured, let's get the dog in the ambulance immediately, and I didn't muzzle him. As soon as the police officers put their stretcher on the thing, the dog reached up and bit me, sunk his teeth into me, deep, right up to the gum line. I waited. I had to wait until he let go because I cannot pull. He will not go anywhere. When he let go, he bit me in the leg. I took a step back, and he held on to me. It was a painful experience, but it was an amazing lesson to be learned that do not take for granted that even your own dog will not bite you if it becomes injured. You have to prepare your dog for everyday life. You have to prepare your children. You have to prepare yourself to be aware of when you go into the wilderness, you shouldn't go in there without a first aid kit. When you drive your car, you shouldn't drive your car without a spare tire and a jack to be able to change your tire. Don't take your dog for granted. Teach the puppy what you want. Make it a way of life so it's not boring, it's not difficult. Instead of struggling the puppy, don't be afraid to use a little food. You can wean away from food very, very easily. The big debate about training a dog 100% with food or with clickers, and we use a clicker to introduce things, and then we wean away from it. It's balance training. You don't have to be harsh. You don't have to fight with your dog. If you try to teach a puppy to put this on, and you just put it on with on the dog, and you struggle with them, and they're thrashing around, they're fighting with them, what association do they have with that except fear? Now, if you have to use it, your tool is gone. So if you have a dog that has a problem with a veterinarian for whatever the reason, they're not an evil dog. They're just frightened. So why should a frightened animal be punished? And so you condition the puppy at home to put something on their muzzle. The gentle leaders, sometimes we just put gentle leaders on and go right to work with them. And some dogs really fight with them. Some dogs just accept them. It depends on the personality of the dog. Find out your dog. Treats. Condition your puppy using treats. We use string cheese, like I said. We use spears. It's the way I like to cut them. I also use rolled food, and I cut them the same way. From my boy with his larger muzzle. And I don't care, like I said, if the meat gets stuck on the muzzle bars itself, because it's still associating it with a pleasurable thing. I will condition my dogs for this before we go see the veterinarian. If you have a dog that's sharp, if you have a dog that's reactive, if you're taking a program called a reactive dog class, don't be afraid of a muzzle. Try not to get stuck on that you'll be judged by having a muzzle. We have to educate the general public. I cannot get my dog out, I cannot get your dog out onto the street to work with, to socialize, if we're constantly in fear of the dog biting somebody, okay? That said, you must be intelligent about where you take your dog. You're not going to take your dog that has a problem with other dogs into a dog park with a muzzle on. You're not going to take your dog that has problems with other dogs onto the beach where they're running loose. You teach the puppy to accept the other dogs in a training setup, where you're a controlled environment. And if you have to get the dog out on the street to expose it to more things, you don't be afraid to learn how to condition it to a muzzle. Now, feel free, you can contact me. I'll tell you where you can look for different types of muzzles. Again, if you try to save a buck and go with the cheap ones, you get what you pay for. It's worth these muzzles run anywhere from $25 to $50. These particular muzzles this one here was $24, $25. This was $27, and this one here was $35. So if you try to go to a local store and you get one for 10 bucks, that's what you're going to get. You're not going to get one that's made properly to fit comfortably on the dog that's going to secure it. Now, this muzzle had a strap attached to this that would attach to that. Very similar to this one. That this would come up and attach to the collar that the dog has on, and this would come around, and that would secure the muzzle from a dog trying to pull it off. But because Merlin is trained and conditioned to wear this, and he's not wearing it because of concern, he wears it because of a competition event that we do that they're required to wear a muzzle, I took the strap right off to cut down on the annoyance of having it. So, wrap this up. Gauze pad or triangle bandages and a first aid kit can act as an emergency muzzle for a dog when it becomes injured to prevent you from being bitten. It's your dog, but your dog can still hurt you when it becomes frightened or if it's in pain. Okay? I want to wrap this real quick again. Very simple. Place it over the dog, on top, bring it down, tie it again, bring it up and back of the ears, and keep it snug. Then you can pick your dog up. You can move it without being bitten. Condition your dog to wear some type of muzzle that will help him or her get out in the street for more exposure with a professional, preferably, unless you've been trained to what to do. You cannot associate pain when you're putting these on because they will only increase their fear, and now you're restricting them, which would then heighten the fear and make the problem even worse. This is not used as a punishment. This is used as a prevention program, okay? And talk to your veterinarian. If you have a dog that's frightened, find out if you can go in at a quiet time and take the dog and place him on its scale or her and then leave. Get the dog used to wearing the muzzle at home. Get the dog used to wearing the muzzle in the car. Short periods. Keep it fun. And educate the people that you know that understand that this is a tool to help your dog live a healthier, happier life and help them during the behavior modification program that they might be in to learn how to adjust and not be afraid. And it gives you, the owner, peace of mind, knowing the dog cannot hurt somebody while you're trying to teach this puppy and help this puppy out. It's very important, and they're with us for such a short time. We have to make them as comfortable as possible, and let's keep fear out of their life, because really, at the end of the day, it really is all about the dogs.